Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to the second half of our Alliance doubleheader here on the D2L Western Challenge. We've got Alliance taking on Cloud9, and they came out on the bad end of things against Empire, and really a dominant series by Team Empire, dropping their record to 0-1 here in their D2L Western Challenge debut. Going to look to split the series much as Cloud9 did yesterday, but Cloud9, well, they're sitting at 2-1, and they're contending for top spot in the overall standings. A win here would put them over the top, so they've got a lot to play for as well as they hit the halfway point in their own schedule. Let's take a look at how the teams match up, lineup to lineup, beginning with Alliance. Alliance, as you can see, once again, says 0-0, but that doesn't reflect their earlier loss to Empire, so they're at 0-1 right now, and 0 points is correct, though, as they didn't even manage to win the game. They're led by S4 in the mid position, of course, with Admiral Bulldog, who has been drafting for them on and off over the last week or two, but actually won't be doing that this time around, as the lobby is already loaded in, and S4 is in the drafter's position. I guess anyone could actually be doing it based on the way it works now. But anyway, they've got Loda out in the carry position. One of the most experienced players you're ever going to see, and certainly a fan favorite. Ake, of course, arguably the most dominant jungler and Chim player in particular in the world, and then EGM on the hard support. They're going to be tested today by Cloud9 on the other side of the river. And Cloud9, well, they had their ups and their downs yesterday. They looked very, very good in the second series, though, sneaking a win against Na'Vi and improving their own record, dropping Na'Vi down out of a solo hold on first place. They're led by Pylai Dai, who has really been showing some amazing things out of the hard support position on a variety of heroes. Of course, Bone7 out in the off lane. He's been a standout performer for the last few days for Cloud9 as well. Then you've got the fan favorite, of course, Sing Sing in mid. Always going to be big plays wherever he happens to go. AUI, who transitioned from carry to support and jungle quite some time ago, has thrived there and has been a huge part of the success Cloud9 has had so far. And then the ultimate tryhard, Eternal Envy himself. Always fun to watch Eternal Envy play, just because you know you're going to see about as much min-maxing as you possibly can on any given build, on any given hero, and on any given day. I'm your host there in AC Chambers. Thanks for joining us for the broadcast, guys. We're live from our downtown studio here in San Francisco. D2L Western Challenge, our ultra-condensed format, and we're getting into the meat of it now. We're on Tuesday here in week 2. We've got a few more series ahead for the next few days. We're going to have another doubleheader tomorrow, Thursday. I'm pretty sure is a single series day. Then Friday we're off. Then we're right back with 2 more doubleheaders coming up this weekend. Looking ahead to week 3, which of course will be when all of the all of everything is going to be decided, more or less. It usually does come down to the wire here in the D2L. I'll be joined once again by Trout Dota for the inside analysis. Make sure you stick with us. The draft already underway. We'll be jumping into that momentarily. Cloud9 taking on Alliance here on the D2L Western Challenge. We'll be right back. And right on into the draft. Cloud9, Alliance, already 2 picks under their belt, and the second ban phase already underway. Cloud9 getting rid of the Naga, the Puck, and of course the Centaur, who has really been a popular pick across the board for pretty much every team. Alliance banning out, well, the 2 you ban out whenever you have second pick, the Lycan and the Ember Spirit, and also taking away the Invoker. Cloud9 snags the Bat and the Ancient Apparition, and we see the Nyx Assassin and Venomancer out quick for Alliance. So I'm not going to lie, that's actually really surprising to me. Just because the way our rules work, obviously, every game has a home team, and every team we do our best to give as many equal home and away series as we can throughout our format. And we always give our home team the option of selecting first or second pick or side. And Alliance did something that I've yet to see so far throughout all of that, and that's they actually selected second pick, and then they selected the Nyx and the Venomancer off of that. So very interesting decision-making there, and very interesting draft, if for no other reason than that. To help break it all down, though, welcome in once again, Trout. And, Alliance, they looked a little sluggish in our first series of the day. They can't come out like that against Cloud9, or they will end up tallying a second loss. Cloud9 looked so good yesterday in their last series.
Yeah, they definitely did. And I agree with you. The Nyx and the Venomancer is interesting, but what's more interesting to me is that most likely, we usually see Nyx nowadays played as an off lane, and it doesn't seem like your typical Admiral Bulldog-esque hero, when you think of Admiral Bulldog. By the way, he's not drafting this series.
Right.
It's back to S4. That's kind of an interesting note. But when you think of Admiral Bulldog, you think of heroes like specifically Furion, Lone Druid, and we didn't see them pick that up, nor even attempt to pick that up in the last series against Empire. So, I mean, that's not to say he can't play Nyx, and Nyx is one of the most one of the best offlaners right now in the metagame, in my opinion. So, but I am a little interested as you are. As far as Cloud9 goes, their draft so far: Batrider, Ancient Apparition, and then the Rubik now as their second support hero. The AA and Batrider seem to be like favorites among C9 and Pylai Dai. Bone 7 played fantastic on the Batrider yesterday, and I'm sure there'll be no difference today.
And do want to point out, by the way, once again, we had to remind Eternal Envy that we wanted him to tag up properly. And he did. Just took the name he was already running and sticking EE on the end. So thanks much for that. I love Envy. I think he's absolutely just an amazing guy. But anyway, Cloud9, as you said, getting the heroes we've seen them be very comfortable on in a variety of ways. They've yet to really get their Sing Sing hero, and it looks like Alliance is going to take away one of his favorites with the Mirana. So we'll be running the double Night Ladies on their cats and so on and so forth. The Nyx Assassin pick, as you mentioned, a lot of fun to watch in action. Like you said, though, if it is going to be an off lane, it's not what you would traditionally consider an Admiral Bulldog-esque hero. He tends to farm more than anything. But, you know, that almost is a misconception at this point. And I even talked about it coming up to TI3 is, you know, it was kind of a trope to be like, oh, Admiral Bulldog, LOL, 2 heroes ban him and he's screwed. Not really, man. Bulldog has a pretty deep hero pool. He plays an excellent Clockwork and a really good bounty hunter. And Nyx Assassin, I think, fits in just fine compared to those 2 heroes in terms of getting active early and just being a difference maker and initiator and so on and so forth. Cloud9, though, well, given the success Sing Sing had yesterday on Templar Assassin, I don't think it's any kind of a shock to see them pick that up again for Sing in mid. The Bat will be the off lane. Now they just need their carry. On the side of Alliance, though, I really like the Luna and Mirana and how they tend to work together. It's just a matter of how they're going to end up laning it. I mean, obviously, you know, I don't know, though. Like, Rubik Ancient Apparition, it's good, but do you think you can aggressive into that? I mean, they've still got some options open for support.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering now if it's going to be a support Mirana or a support Nyx. Probably a support Nyx.
Right.
And then, you know, they have a lot of options for Alliance right now. So I'm very, very curious just to see what they do. But then again, I don't know, because the good thing about offlane Nyx is that you generally get a bit more levels than you would as a support, unless you're really, really good about constantly, you know, pulling the creep wave, or sorry, pulling the neutral camps, getting levels that way. It doesn't have much of a presence as a support, though, and that's the only problem. So, yeah, I'm not quite too sure what Alliance is going to do as far as their laning. They could also, as you mentioned, go aggressive with Mirana or Nyx as a solo in the safe lane, but I don't think that they're going to do that against an AA Rubik. They're not bad supports at all defensively, and that would be a bit risky from Alliance in my opinion. Now Sing Sing on the Templar Assassin, yeah, as you mentioned yesterday, just went crazy once he got some space, and you know, hopefully he's able to do that again for his team this game.
I tell you, an option they have available would be to run the Nyx, Veno, and Mirana as an aggressive lane and just rely on gaining levels on Venomancer and Nyx Assassin. Impale's a decent setup at level 2 anyway for an arrow. Gale's obviously very good for that if it's played well. I don't know. That seems really unlikely, but yeah, it's very ambiguous for them, whereas Cloud9 is pretty much set in their ways. We can see, yeah, Alliance just says, well, you're going to take a carry, whatever carry you want to take. We're just more worried about the Morphling than any other ones, but for Envy, we could see kind of a weird pocket pick for them. This is the kind of situation where you'll occasionally see Envy just like pick a Drow Ranger last or something bizarre and try lane farm her, then get active with her. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, certainly a lot of options are available with that in terms of hard farming heroes. I mean, you could always just pick out an Anti-Mage if you felt like going with something like that. But yeah, the Vengeful Spirit Band looks like they do think that they're looking for another support with the Nyx Assassin, either solo safe farming or running in the off lane. I think it's going to end up being 2 defensive tri-lanes, though, in a very quiet first couple of minutes of the game at the very least. So that last pick on the way, and Trout is muted. Gonna have to work on the mechanics. There's the man.
No, I actually dropped something too in my headset. I couldn't really hear. So that was, yeah. But I was gonna say that the mid Mirana could be also an option for S4. I don't know if I've seen him do it that often. It's definitely like a niche pick for a hero or for a player. Like, you know, Sing Sing is very comfortable with it. I'm sure S4 would do fine, but yeah, like you mentioned, ambiguous, I think, is the best word here for Alliance in the last pick. So this is really going to I set the tone and make things a little bit more obvious for us as casters and the viewers as far as what Alliance is going to do. And as you mentioned for the last pick for Cloud9, I was actually thinking Morphling as well, and they banned that out from Alliance. So yeah, they have a multitude of options for C9 as far as what they want to do, because the 4 heroes that they've already picked are still so good together. Sand King, so this is a lot of stuns coming out from Alliance. Tons of stuns and tons of aggression. So I like it.
I do too. And now the question becomes, where's the Sand King gonna go? I don't know. Like, that still leaves them pretty wide open, man. I mean, you've got basically, well, they're just gonna go with the Spectres, so that's not too shocking in the least. But yeah, let's see who Alliance puts on who. And granted, they could swap it as soon as we get in the game. Looks like they're talking it over, but that'll tell us the lanes. They do have aggressive potential. Sand King and Mirana is disgusting with the Venomancer Gale to follow up. And I don't know. Like, they could end up aggressively tri-laning that and farming the Mirana that way. Solo safe the Luna just to get her the extra levels. Is going to be Bulldog on the Nyx Assassin. Still doesn't tell us much. Ake on the Venomancer. EGM will be on the Sand King. It'll be Loda. And then S4. So we'll be a mid Mirana.
Yeah, it will. And you would think with these heroes, especially against the free farming Spectre, that you'd want to try to do something. And maybe they will. Maybe they will go offensive. But nope, it looks like Admiral Bulldog's running up there, rushing to place that ward. So it will be standard lengths from Alliance. And the thing about this, though, you think on paper, and I talked about this yesterday when there was a Spectre pick, I believe, and I think it was against a Luna as well, is that you can be like, oh, no, we can't let Spectre get free farm, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. But whenever you have a Luna, I feel like sometimes it's okay to just go safe versus safe, because she benefits so much from early towers and early farm. As we saw Silent just go crazy with early amounts of farm on Luna.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, you can get scared against the free farming Spectre, but she does come online much later, even with free farm, compared to someone like a Luna. And if you can get like early towers, I think that's going to be the name of the game for Alliance, is early towers, tons of farm up onto your supports. And those are support heroes that really benefit from a lot of farm. I think more so than the Rubik and the AA. Although the AA, it is very nice to have an early Ags.
Ooh, that Sentry Ward barely misses the ward that Batches dropped. And I don't know, did you get a chance to see that picture I was talking about? I want to say I brought it up a cast or so ago. It was from earlier this week. Yeah, there was a picture someone snapped of a game. It was like our Monday cast. There were 5 wards all placed in this vicinity.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, none of them could see each other. I thought that was disgusting. It was like two regular wards and like 3 sentries or something. And yeah, everything stayed up and going. Anyway, we're underway, and game 1 of our second best of 3 of the day Alliance in the second half of their doubleheader. Let's take a look at who's handling who. S4, as mentioned, will be taking the Mirana mid with back on the Venomancer. Luna's going to be played by Loaded this time around. Perhaps a little bit of a better hero than what we saw mostly in our first series. EGM on the Sand King right there beside him, and Admiral Bulldog setting up shop out in the off lane. Other side of the river, we got Pylai Dai, the captain, playing on the Rubik. Sing Sing will be back on the TA, and yeah, he needs to play more TA if he can replicate the results he had in his last series yesterday. C9's going to have, no doubt, Eternal Envy. And see, I wanted to call him C9 because he's Envy, and he does things like stick EE at the end. He'll be on our Spectre, the Ancient Apparition, and joining up with Pylai Dai, giving some harassment here. And, of course, out in the off lane, that'll be Bone 7. So this off lane seems like it's going to be a bit tough on old Bone. He's going to end up ducking into the jungle a little bit earlier than I think he would like.
Yeah, that's really good for Alliance, too, because...
Telekinesis, Chilling Touch, but Carapace is there very quickly. Spectral Dagger, a couple more auto attacks, doing some bonus damage. One more auto attack would have brought him down, but Bulldog able to salve himself up. Now, if they're able to do that again, he's going to be down to just tangos, and he's going to have to really play back. And the problem is C9 has good control of the creep equilibrium. We actually see Bone being pursued out of the jungle now by EGM and Ake. And Ake is actually burning a bit. Looked like, yeah, he doesn't have a point in a Gale, so just using the Poison Sting. But nonetheless, a little bit of action here and there, but no blood on the ground yet.
Yeah, Bone 7 able to get that regen rune as well. But he doesn't have a point of experience yet. 0 out of 200 if you look at the experience numbers for him. So at the very least, Alliance is winning in that sense, because Admiral Bulldog's getting a little something. Although these supports they're really sacrificing their levels and farm from the polls to just keep Nyx completely at bay. And that's a good stat, too. Yeah, did you see that stat for Sing Sing on the TA? That's pretty scary. He's undefeated, 7-0, since February 1st in professional matches.
There's a Telekinesis, tossing Bulldog back. And down at bottom, we hear the Bat did find the Illusion Rune, so he'll use that to wreak some havoc in the jungle. And but yeah, it's going to be the unstoppable object meets the unstoppable force meets the immovable object, as we just saw that roughly in that same time frame. Admiral Bulldog is 6-2 on the Nyx Assassin. So both of these things playing heroes they're very, very comfortable with and have had a lot of success with in the past. This is bad news for C9 though. We're 2.5 minutes in, and like you said, every bit of 20 experience points have been sucked up by Bone. And yeah, he's going to need some help. He's going to need something to get him back on track. A slow Blink Dagger on a Bat Rider whenever you've drafted a Spectre, who, yes, can come in and, haunt in, throw out a Spectral Dagger, especially if they go this max Spectral Dagger build. Yes, that you have some presence and you have the ability to help out, but Spectre is not a come and fight early hero for the most part, whereas Loda on the Luna can, especially given this kind of a start. So they could end up feeling down a man if that Blink Dagger feels way too slow.
Yeah. He's going to get a couple of creeps as far as experience goes down here in the bottom lane, so that's good for them. They didn't get the pull off or the lane positioning exactly how they wanted to, so a little unfortunate for Lions, but obviously still keeping him level 1 at 3 minutes is quite good, whereas Nyx is now level 2. So, it's pretty even relatively early on here. As far as mid, it's pretty even as well.
Bulldog's in trouble. He popped the Carapace too early. Got hit by the Spectral Dagger. He is, first blood. Got that flip back up just in time to see the Carapace had been deployed already way too early to be in that position and use that Carapace. You just can't do that. Not with the Spectre, with her Dagger, and not with the slows and so on and so forth. And it just well played by C9, and that's a great kill for them.
Not to mention they just pulled a double stack there as well, and they're connecting the pull. So look at these supports. All of a sudden now they're both level 3 with good amounts of farm. Aoi, he's now got enough for his boots with that first blood. This guy seems to get more first bloods on supports than any other support I've seen, it seems. As we saw him with the Treant Protector yesterday against Na'Vi, he had first blood and then just rolled with it, but unfortunately they lost that game, so anyway.
Let's see if they want to get aggressive. There is a smoke on Pile I Die. Right now they're hanging around for the moment. But yeah, AUI is one of those guys who when he plays supports, he doesn't play a support the way you get used to seeing them. He tends to have farm. I mean, if his team is in the game at all, he's going to be getting up quick items like Scepter and so on. And as we just saw, I didn't read the whole stat, but pretty sure that reflected that as well. The fact that he has a lot of success whenever he has first blood. Talking about mid, we haven't really been given a lot of attention. S4 is doing a good job here. He's sitting at 20 CS to the 18 of Sing Sing. Sing Sing does have quite a many more denies, though. And Bulldog back up into a bit of a precarious situation. And, yeah, they're going to chase him out again. So he's getting zoned out just about as badly as Bone is. Actually, he and Bone are dead even in experience now. So even though they're not catching Bone up as quickly as they would like, they're holding Bulldog down to the point that it's not going to matter nearly as much.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more detrimental, though, for Bat having not only no experience, but he's going to try to steal this stack right here. This will be crazy if he can get it. The Gale does hit him.
S4.
Here comes S4 as well with an arrow, perhaps.
Let's see.
They should be able to get this.
Yep. There we go. Leap ahead. And, didn't even have to spend it. All he had to do was leap, Starfall. And she just called him a trespasser. That's actually really funny. I didn't know they had that coded in. Like I don't know if that was recognized based on map position or what. But, yeah, that's hilarious. Well done. 1-1. Alliance finds their way onto the board. It's not first blood, but it is a nice kill for their mid-hero.
And I'm really surprised that S4 is actually... I mean, he's a little lower now than Sing Sing because he rotated, but he's basically been even with the TA, which is very surprising. I feel like TA should be very much far ahead as far as just pure CS goes because of that refraction damage. So S4 doing a fantastic job here early on.
Luna has a Midas up already, sitting on Bassi Midas. So Loda tearing it up. Eternal Envy, though, just a few CS ahead. And already has up FaZe and Bassi himself. So this is where the choice comes in. We're going to see Bulldog spinning an Impale onto him. He's got Carapace. Isn't enough, though. He's going to hang on to it a little bit longer. Can't hang on to it for much longer. And he's right there. Yeah. That is, it's just, I don't know why he decided to Carapace there. He's too far behind. He's going to die to Desolate damage into the Spectral Dagger. It's just going to happen almost every time he decides to engage into them.
Yeah, I mean, any timing of the Carapace right there was just going to be bad. Like, it wasn't going to help him no matter what. It's just, he was too far up. No kind of Carapace timing is going to help him. And that's really, like, it's one thing to give Spectre free farm, but when Spectre's getting kills, too, that's a huge problem because Spectre doesn't have that much killing potential early on.
Nope.
But now with more kills under her belt, it becomes easier and easier, more levels. And he is maxing right now. He might go another point into, like, Desolate at level 7, but for now he's maxing Spectral Dagger, so he'll have some extra damage, extra movement speed change, which is now going to be 18 if he decides to get it at level 7.
Everywhere else staying fairly quiet, mostly been at that top lane and then picking off the bat in the jungle. Taking a look at the mid matchup again, Sing Sing has pulled back ahead in the lead and has a lot of denies now. That's where he's really winning that lane. They're fairly close to CS, 31-38. That's not the end of the world, but you talk 20 denies out of that mid position. That's a pretty damn big win. I mean, that's the equivalent of 5 early waves.
Oh, S4 up top. He's transferring.
And here we go. Arrow.
Oh, no.
Oh, just barely misses on Pylai Die. That's going to be, he misses with the Impale, too. Envy's tanky enough. He actually broke off of that. He wants S4 instead. No mana for leap. That's actually just a heads-up play coming out from Envy. And the illusion will get him. Yeah, that's just a heads-up play from Envy, knowing that value kill is the Mirana, recognizing how low his mana pool was, even though he did have leap ready to go. And AUI going to end up dying under his own tower. They'll give that to Lotus. So a little bit of payback in real time. S4, though, for sure, the more valuable kill of the two.
Yeah, the arrow was just not timed correctly from S4. I think he was thinking that the Carapace would have stunned Rubik for a longer period of time, but I think Admiral Bulldog just needed to stun him as soon as he saw the opportunity. And Rubik wasn't moving around or anything, and I think he just waited too long and then got the lift off and then able to walk away from the arrow. So just a very not the best coordinated gank right there.
Yep. No mud golems for our bad rider in the dire jungle, by the way. 3 whole camps, not a single set of golems, no matter how many times they're stacked. Just look at Bulldog. Envy just diving back behind the tower and kind of YOLOing it. And Bone 7 is really low, but he's really catching up. He's got about 1,000 gold under his belt, so another just about 1,200 left. Now, hang on, Sing Sing caught out. Sentry goes down and won't be able to melt, and Sing, a very nice return kill for S4 after dying at top. Doesn't have another arrow, or he'd probably take a shot at Pylai Die. Will in 10 seconds.
He's going to go for him.
Yeah, he's just bottling up.
He has Starfall in 1 second, yep.
There you go. Now, though, EGM's back behind him, has Epicenter up, and there's the Burrow Strike to try and buy time against AUI. And Arrow, barely dodged by AUI. They are living on the edge right now. Some very low health heroes hanging out behind the tier 1. But here comes Bone. Bone not yet level 6. 2 points into.
Wowie, what are you doing? No.
Ends up. Oh, he's alive for the moment. No, dies in the sandstorm, and we're going to see EGM dying as well. That helps out Bone a little bit. But, yeah, I expected a really quiet early game. Instead, we've got 9 kills in the first 10 minutes. That's a little more action than I anticipated.
That was a really smart heads-up play all around by EGM, I think.
For sure.
Specifically. He's been really playing well. He played well last game as well, or last series, I should say. And starting off this series well as on the Sand King. Level 7. Only 10 minutes in, has his arcane boots, going for a mech it looked like as well before the blink. So he's doing really good first team right now.
Envy, though, continues to farm. Loda is slightly ahead. Well, more than slightly, actually, because he did get a Midas. And there's going to be the Burrow Strike. That caught Envy. He has Epicenter ready to go, and the beautiful charge. The Impale was timed just perfectly. Envy, he got cut out of the trees. That's a good kill. They needed to bring him down, and the whole time that's been going on, Loda's been farming. He's going super greed, not just a Midas, but going right up to Helm of the Dominator as well, so they're going to be looking to stack for him, most certainly, more than likely, starting right about now. 6-4, Alliance leads at just about 11 minutes in. The gold was in favor of C9, still very marginal in terms of how big a difference it actually is, but it has swung back in favor of Alliance. The experience is also moving their way as well. Now they're going to go ahead and pop Moonlight Shadow. Looks like they want to rotate Bulldog and EGM into mid to take another shot. No, I thought that was Sing Sing. That's actually Pylai Die. He's dead. Like, there's just, just dead.
Yeah, well-coordinated gank there. Pretty easy peasy. And EGM's already up to level 8.5, basically. This is one of the most, not farmed as far as gold, but experience farmed support Sand Kings I've ever seen at this time, and it's gonna pay dividends. This is one of the best heroes as far as roaming around and getting things started early on if you can get levels on him. That's one of the only drawbacks of Sand King, is that he's very inefficient, like levels 1 through 3, 4-ish. But if you can get past that hump early on, this becomes one of the best, if not the best, support heroes. I'm not kidding. It's just the power with the long-range Burrow Strike at level 4 and the damage from Epicenter just makes him so good.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, that's how you usually want to see a Sand King played. Because, I mean, yes, he needs gold, but what he needs more than anything is just levels. The gold will come just because of the power of Epicenter and how good of an AoE stun Burrow Strike is if he's able to stay on par and stay ahead. And, damage comes with that as well, obviously. We've got a smoke down in the bottom, but nobody's home for C9. Yeah. Looks like we're going to have a 3-man smoke up top. Sentry goes down for Alliance, and they're going to have a chance to catch EE. This will be another big kill if they can make it happen. There's the Vendetta from Bulldog, and Eternal Envy smells it out. Smells a rat, as everyone from Alliance is now up on that corner of the map. And yeah, I mean, they've got enough vision and coverage. They know it's like, okay, they're missing, and who's the biggest target on the map? That would be Mr. Oiki of the Heavens, or however the hell that's pronounced. I'm so not an anime guy.
Yeah, they should probably just push this tower now. Unfortunately, the Vendetta was kind of wasted right there, but they'll get this tower. Hopefully they can rotate bottom and defend this. They have Bat singling or going around them, and he's actually got, he just took some stacks in the enemy jungle too. And he now has enough for his blink once he can go to the shop and buy it. So Bone 7 is gonna have to be making plays for his team, as they are probably down a little bit. I haven't looked at the graph. Actually, experience is even, dead even, but gold is gonna definitely go in favor more of Alliance once they get this top tower.
They're gonna be able to get down there to defend, as you mentioned, and let's see how quickly they react to it. Or
Bat might be able to get a kill fast though if they do respond with just like 1 or 2 TPs. Nope, he's leaving actually. Doesn't want to help.
Yeah, it looks like they suspect something's up. And not wanting to feed any more kills. So 7-4, and Envy going to be shoved back plenty far. Looks like he's going to be going for a Vanguard first. Has picked up his Ring of Health towards that end. Sing Sing in the meantime picked up a Midas a couple of minutes ago, so his not nearly as fast as Loda's, but man, Loda's so far ahead. He's already got up his Morbid Mass, decided to break off the Ultra Greed, and instead just take the lifesteal and go straight to a BKB, as the Ogre Club is now done, and he's got 300 or 400 gold aside from it. Ake could have been a target, manages to make it out. He had the ward in position, so they're going to try to collapse on where they know he was and know they were with the Moonlight Shadow. We've got S4 taking the high road, might be able to, nope, he had a haste rune, and waiting for EGM to catch up, unable to do so. So bit of a dodge bullet on both sides that time.
Yeah, S4, he was looking for something, but even if he hit an arrow, it could have been bad. They'd be playing into Fog, into a possible A ultimate, possible Haunt with the tier 1 tower right there standing. So it was a smart play. He goes back to farm. Vanguard completed onto Spectre along with the Ring of Aquila, so he's pretty tanky right now. And he's got good levels. He just dinged level 11.
There's going to be a lasso on the EGM. That caught the supports behind. Ake got busted with it, as did Bulldog. Now we're going to have them re-engaging. Loda has to pull back. Ake's there to throw out the Venomous Gale. He may end up dying. Nope, never mind. Shatter damage on enough. There's the Eclipse, but not nearly fast enough. Can they bring down the Bat? That'll be worthwhile at the very least. However, still a huge win for C9, as more importantly, Eternal Envy was a part of all that. And S4 with the arrow hits him, and it's going to jump forward. That's very aggressive out of him, not knowing what was behind it. And now they're going to try to chase down Bulldog. Has Carapace if he needs it. There's the Courier. That gets, yep, looks like Bulldog's the one that caught the Courier and got it to safety in exchange for being late on his Carapace. And they get the Courier nonetheless.
Oh, no.
Huge.
And Sentry's deployed.
Huge.
Sentry's deployed. He has no leap. He has no leap.
What a disaster. Now EGM's going to come in and go on Sing Sing. Doesn't matter. He's not going to be able to kill him by himself. I don't know what he was thinking there. He had to know that the epicenter damage was going to bounce off Refract, at least in part. And that is just a complete and unmitigated cataclysm for Alliance. And just look at that. Just in the blink of an eye, 2,000 gold lead evaporates. The experience now, a swing of just about 5,000 in the favor of Cloud9, who played that immaculately.
Yeah, they really did. I feel like S4 should have known that they just didn't have enough damage to pursue that. It was very greedy by him. It should have just been an impale from Nick's assassin into an arrow, and then just have Admiral Bulldog run away. No harm, no foul. That was just a disaster of a fight for Alliance. Also, Loda he popped the ultimate when he had like 100 HP, and I think there was a window of time where he actually could have popped it and got a couple more beams off before he died. So I think either way, if he's popping it, he knew that he was going to die with it. But I think if he popped it a bit earlier, he would have had at least a little bit more effectiveness out of it. So very, very huge fight in favor of C9.
Another Moonlight Shadow, and it looks like they want to try to get it all back at once. They're going to have a hell of a chance as everyone from C9's here. Can they get the initiation advantage? They have a shot. Pili dies, the target they don't want. They're going to bypass it and instead go after Envy. Oh, they're going to spot him. There's the Gale. Let's see if C9's going to react. Arrow to follow it up. They're moving up. I don't know if this is the right call because Envy's gone immediately. And A ultimate. Yep, here we go. Buy back immediately and the Haunt in. S4's been lassoed back. We see Sing Sing doing what he can behind the fight. We see the Sand King Burrow striking in to buy time, but ends up dead anyway. Bulldog is spotted and brought down by Envy as well. So that's a very worthy buyback. I honestly didn't think he had buyback there. Didn't check his gold count. And makes sense to me.
They should have seen that coming, honestly. Like, That was well played by C9 and Envy to do that, but that's kind of like why you pick Spectre in a lot of situations. Mostly it's directed towards the late game where you get tons of items with Radiant, and you go in and fight. They use all the spells on Spectre, she buys back, ultis in, and then it's like way better for you because then they're fighting without the cooldown. But they just knew that they gave up a huge fight to C9, so they should have known that there was a ton of gold up onto Envy. But wasting a lot of time and a lot of cooldowns and a lot of damage onto Spectre right in their jungle, I feel like they should have seen that coming. I really do.
And we can see they're going to take the Roshan as a result of it all as well. And like you said, very well played. Took me by surprise and certainly took Alliance by surprise. And that's the kind of thing you have to call a game breaker. I mean, it's not to say that it's insurmountable or that things are suddenly completely out of control, but that just, it took a game that at best was a little bit favoring Alliance and turned it into a heavy favor for Eternal Envy and company, especially now Envy having that Aegis that's going to allow him to farm much more aggressively if that's the route they want to go, or they can even decide to flip the script a little bit and take the action to Alliance. We can see they're zoning them off of their own tier 1 bottom, and it will end up dropping. But what do you think the right call now is for Alliance? Do you fall back and try to farm loader, or do you keep the pressure up the way you have for the last few minutes, even though it hasn't been working out?
Well, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because I don't think they have the means to fight them with the items they have right now. Now it's like you're kind of questioning whether EGM should have gone for this mech or not, because I feel like they really need Blink on this team for Alliance to come back in these fights. Without it, I don't think that they're going to have the initiation or the damage to take a fight for C9. But the thing is if you just sit back and wait, Spectre's going to have, this is where the free farming Spectre is going to be really, really scary, because it's just a better hero as far as team fights go. Because you can initiate from any part of the map. You can maximize your farm and jump into a team fight from anywhere. Luna can't do that. She's gonna have to TP and walk to fight.
Oh, EGM's dead. He just got caught in the jungle. That trap from Sing Sing spotted him out. And Bulldog Vendetta was on his way, but just too much going on. They're going to be able to take this tier 1. In response, to tell you the truth, I mean, Loda, at this point, he's built more defensive than anything. He's going to have his BKB done soon. They might push through and try to take a tier 2. Nope. They're going to try to respond and defend. Beautiful arrow out of S4. Timed it perfectly. Do they have the damage to follow it up? It's the question. Doesn't look like it. The Vanguard a little too strong. AA ultimate comes out and doesn't connect on anything. The rest of Alliance will decide to retreat while Loda just continues to farm and be cool in the jungle. But Eternal Envy, not too scared, man. Again, having that Aegis, he can just play a little bit more, not necessarily lazy, but aggressive, I think is the word, even in his TPs, even especially in the way he decides to farm.
Yeah, and this is where the potent pick, too, is start. It's not bad, but, you know, you mention all the time, if you start to fall behind with a...
Yep.
With a bottom on your team, then this is a hero that needs a lot of farm in the late game to be super, super effective. Obviously in the mid to early game, she's amazing with any amounts of farm. Here we go with an ulti from bottom on top.
Going right for the arrow onto the Rubik. Beautiful shot from Bulldog. Max range on the Impale to get them both, and Envy barely has his Aegis popped off of him. So loses a little bit of time on it. It was probably going to be reclaimed before too long anyway. He still had a couple of minutes, so loses 2 minutes on his Aegis timing. So a nice pick by Alliance. Now let's see if they can translate it to anything. Bone 7's busy in the jungle right now. He has a Blink Force Staff and is now working on a BKB just to keep himself safe. EGM, in the meantime, has yet to finish that damn mechanism. Just can't keep himself alive long enough. Mech could be a big item for them because a lot of these fights are seeming to be more and more drawn out. But looks like, yeah, they're going to go ahead and abandon the siege for the moment.
Now, the one thing that's good is that as far as CS goes, and let me pull up the net worth tab. Yeah, Luna is farming very well. This greedy build is paid off for Loda, so I like that from him. He's doing a good job about letting his team take these engagements while he gets as much farm as he possibly can. So Loda doing really well as far as his farming capabilities. That's good for them. Fantastic play by S4 and the rest of Alliance up there up top. They knew as soon as they got the kill from Spectre, they needed to disengage, and that's what they did.
We can see Loda taking a stack of Ancients right now. Another nice little infusion of gold. BKB's done, and he's already got just about enough. Well, he has enough to finish his Helm of the Dominator for sure. Just a question of what he wants. They're going to smoke right off of that, feeling confident there was no vision there, and they were correct. And they're going to head back up, double back on their tracks. EGM's the one out in front and leading. No one in the jungle at the moment. They couldn't end up catching someone behind the tower, and it looks like, yeah, once again, Cloud9 sniffs it out. They've got everyone tucked in a very defensive position outside of utterly diving a bad rider or literally diving a tier 3, which they might. Envy walks right out into it, and they decide not to. I'm a little surprised there. I guess that's just a testament to how tanky the Spectre is. They had everyone there. A burrow strike into an arrow would have guaranteed he was dead. I think they just were worried about where the rest of the team was.
Yeah, they also, that could have been a similar thing in the jungle earlier by killing the Spectre using everything out of tier 3. He actually had 10 seconds on his buyback at that time, so it was very, very close. But I think they made the right call. I think that was way too risky.
Yeah.
And maybe they get the kill on him, but I think they would have traded at least 2 or 3 more heroes for that Spectre.
I agree. Loda, as you said, continuing to open up a net worth lead, at least for the moment. C9, though, does have the next two after him, 9,500 and 9,000 even in net worth for Sing Sing and Eternal Envy, respectively. And taking a look at their item progression, we can see, depending on what he wants, if he wants to go a Radiance build, he's got enough for the Relic right now, referring to Eternal Envy, of course, and Sing Sing once again opting for for a Blink Dagger. And now finally the Blink comes out on Bulldog. That'll help out a ton.
Yeah, this is definitely a Radiance build from Eternal Envy, and to be honest, one of the good things, at least for this game, is that despite some good early kills for Envy, and then that one engagement where he bought back and had a huge fight for C9, he actually hasn't been farming that well. He's been having to move constantly around the map. There's been a couple times where he's walked top and alliances come to pressure him, so he's definitely getting there to the Radiance, and it's a very, very good timing. It could be a bit better, though, just how, seeing how well C9 has done this game. But once he gets that Radiance, it's going to be okay. It's not like some games where we see, like, if he pops it, then the supports just get blown up as we have a pause come out. But, yeah, the mech is going to be really good against the Haunt. The only bad thing is that if the AA ulti hits him beforehand, then obviously the mech's going to be kind of useless.
Right. Yeah, to be honest, the AA ultimates, it's not to say it's been poorly played or anything out of AUI. We just haven't been seeing nearly as big ones. Though that one at bottom really swung that fight. The one I can't draw on the map right now. Ended up catching Bulldog and Ake both behind the meat of the team, and basically made it so if they came forward to engage, there's a very good chance they would shatter, and so they did. But, yeah, 10-13. It's Cloud9's lead right now. The gold is still very, very close, and the later the game goes, the less and less the gold graph matters, really. The experience, though, is still a big lead for C9 as well, and this is how we saw them look so good coming down the stretch in their last series yesterday against Na'Vi. Top level on the board right now is exactly who you'd want it to be. That's Sing Sing. If he can continue to build on that and open things up, it can get very ugly very quickly. And Spectre's right there with him, and which is impressive because Sing Sing has a Midas, as does the Luna, and they're the two that are right there with him. And the fact that that Eternal Envy's managed to keep pace in terms of overall levels is impressive, especially when you look at everyone below him. Highest level outside of those three is level 11 for S4's Murata.
Yep. Yeah, I still feel like this could potentially be... Oh, they're pinging out AUI. Haster in bottom. Good, fast TP. Oh, really well done by S4. Brilliant play. As he knew that the only way that AUI could have gotten out of that situation is to TP immediately. And that could have been bad, too, because the Ogres were kind of like right on top of him, so perfectly placed arrow by S4.
Yep, couldn't agree with you more, man. Just a great, great play. And, yeah, we could see he did have vision. I was curious if the ward was in range, and it certainly was. So would have been even sicker if he did that in blind. But nonetheless, no, actually, yeah, that was their ward. For a second there, I had a brain fart. Anyway, good pick for them.
Well, it's kind of an interesting ward there for your own jungle. That's why it's kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. But
I like it.
Yeah, it served its purpose. It's one of those things. If it does nothing all game, then whatever. But sometimes you get a play like that. Bone 7 is looking for a pick here. We just heard the Moonlight Shadow popped for Alliance. And AA Ultimate will help clear this out. Loda actually caught that. No, he didn't. I thought he caught that in the mouth. He was actually just out of range of it. So he's going to be able to slow little push there a little bit. We could see Bone 7 not liking the way this looks and feels. He'll pull back as well. Very aggressive warding out of both teams. There's a ton of vision out right now. We haven't even talked about that. There's 6 wards on the map right now. 3 from each side. Actually, 4 on the side of C9. They've got this one. That's the only somewhat defensive one. Then you've got Roche warded all to hell. The ramp right by Roche as well as the jungle ward in place. And then same thing for Alliance. They've got 1 defensive ward and then 2 more in the jungle of C9. So both teams playing this out kind of cat and mouse, kind of chess matches.
Yeah, and Loda is just continuing to really, really maximize his farm. He knows that it's hard to come to fights against the Bat Rider in AA. It really does. You have to pick your battles very, very carefully. And like I said before, I really feel like they can't fight too much until you get a blink on SK, which is going to be much better now because he does have a level 11, and he does have his mech, but I think that might have to be the timing from Alliance. Maybe they agree as well because they haven't been trying to make any kind of fights. It's just been maybe looking for pickoffs if someone is alone, but if they're not, don't go for it and just give more time for Loda to get the farm that he needs.
Nyx Assassin's going hunting. He's got help right in front of him. That's S4. S4 actually drew that sentry ward that he had dropped right into the jungle. And I think it was because he, hang on, Pile Die, who had stolen Burrow Strike, turns it right around on him. I'm not even sure. Yeah, they had a sentry on the high ground. That's some terrible luck. Ultimate's on the way, and not going to hit much of anything behind that. The haunt goes off, and Envy right on top of Ake. Ake using the Ghost Scepter to get to safety. Bone 7, though, going to find a lasso. Beautiful reaction from EGM. Let's see if it's enough to buy time. Lotus stays on the low ground. Flame Strike forces him back. There's going to be a BKB and an Eclipse. Sing Sing will be happy to eat all of those charges as the rest of the team comes down. Another good Burrow Strike from EGM. Poison Nova from Ake comes off on the high ground. The Radiance Burn is doing some damage. Ake will be able to make it away. Very tough as C9 manages to get Eternal Envy away as well. S4 trying to find some safety, but Bone 7 right on top of him. Has a Force Staff as well. We'll get right on top of him. He can't turn at all. There's going to be a Gale, though. Sing Sing is there to clean it up, and he might get another one if he's able to chase down Ake. Behind that, actually, Loda got hit by the AA ultimate. Clipped him just on the side. He was coming up the stairs. He should end up shattering here. Ake.
No, he'll be fine. He just can't get hit by anything.
Ooh,
yeah, okay,
ooh.
Thank God. That was really close.
That was extremely close. One or two more ticks and he's down.
Yeah, if he got hit by any more damage from like neutrals or something, he would have died. I think like S4 is like my favorite player ever, man. Like just watching him in fights. I mean, he gets so much praise for good reason, especially for his mid play. But
right,
he just impresses me so much. Like it wasn't anything flashy he did there, but he knew like in that engagement that Loda was kind of in trouble, and he had to like try to like hit him from the back and try to flank them a little bit, and he just went totally aggressive in that little area above the top rune to try to make them go on him instead. So he's basically just kiting back and forth. The second they go on him, he runs. The second they turn back around, he goes back on them.
Yep.
And it's very, very fun to watch him because he just makes so many good decisions in team fights.
And that's really the way you want to play a Mirana for the most part. Just be that elusive target that everyone knows they need to deal with, but someone can't deal with. He's going to throw the arrow out. And checking Roche with it, finds no one. Sing Sing wasn't there. They did see Roche moving around though, so they're going to know that, one, he's back up, and two, someone was poking their nose about. Bulldog's under cover of Vendetta. He's level 2, or level 11, excuse me. We'll have a level 2 Vendetta on the ready. Sing Sing has a BKB of his own, as well as a Yasha, so he's moving pretty damn quick. And with that meld, helping bring down Roshan quickly. We're going to see Eternal Envy. Spectral Dagger his way into the pit. And if Alliance is going to do something about this, they better go soon. Like, real soon. Roche is at half health. They're all right there. They just need to make up their mind if that's what they want to do. You think they can fight this?
I think they can because they have BKB. They have other cooldowns up, basically. But it's too late. Way too late.
They had to suspect that's what was happening, and they're just going to clear out immediately afterwards. In the meantime, Luna does finish a butterfly, though.
It's also hard to fight against AA Ulti and Roche Pit and a Bat Rider. So that might be it. I was wondering actually why Aoi was sitting inside the pit when they were roaching, because if he stands far away, it's much easier to get a humongous AA ulti in the Roche pit. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. They got the Aegis, they got the Roche, and that's definitely going to be a good boost in their golden experience.
Speaking of, we can see it's still a very close game. Does feel as if C9 is definitely on track, on trajectory to wind up with a big lead by the time all's said and done, though. As once again, Eternal Envy has his Radiance up, has yet another Aegis, has his Vanguard. We are seeing big items come out across the board, though. The Manta style now done on S4, and for EGM finally has his Blink Dagger up at 30 minutes, so that'll add a little bit more to his lethality. We're going to see another smoke out of C9 as they look to move through the river. And we'll see if they're able to catch anyone. Looks like Alliance, though, willing to sit right on top of each other just to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, and this is just the beauty of the Spectre pick. More so than just all the damage that Spectre does. It's so easy to initiate team fights and maximize your farm because he can be anywhere. Oh.
Load up. Lassoed back. Didn't have time. The BKB. Great reaction, though. And here comes the counter initiation. But C9 is teeing off. There's the epicenter as well as the Eclipse. And S4 forced to clear out. Loda's still doing work. Can he? No, can't bring him down. In the meantime, though, AUI will be cleaned up by S4. Looked like S4 hit an arrow through the trees, just barely caught it. However, Eternal Envy should be able to track him down, or at the very least, yep, I was going to say Spectral Dagger plus Radiance Burn. More than enough. So that's a 4-for-2 exchange, but more importantly, look who's still standing for C9. It's Ake standing on the side of Alliance. Sing Sing and Eternal Envy benefited from all of that.
That was so close. He had 1 second left on his leap as well, and I think he could have actually disjointed the dagger because it was cast so close by. That could have gone way worse though for Alliance. Loda just manned up, stood his ground, and just sat there and pummeled auto attack after auto attack. And if he had a little bit more lifesteal too, I feel like it could have been a wipe actually for C9.
Yep.
But they were able to get just enough damage to keep him over and take out the Luna before he did too much damage to kill everybody. But even then, we still had the Aegis up on Spectre, and he could have just come. She I should say, could have just come back.
Mercurial, definitely a she. Still the coolest name in Dota, I think. But so.
Oh, and then she picks up a regen. Wow.
That's handy dandy. Let's see. What did he just buy? I was just getting ready to ask you what you thought. Like, looks like he's going to go Manta. Yep, there's Russia. Yep, and the Manta style recipe. So that's just about a full bought Manta, by the way. He only needs another 500 gold, and he just one-shot bought a Manta style.
Yeah, I think that's the best item for Spectre right now.
Oh, right now Alliance is reeling. How do you feel if you're a player for Alliance? Are you feeling urgent? Are you feeling panicked? Or do you feel like everything's still recoverable?
I think it's still manageable and recoverable. Like, the gold isn't crazy, and that's Loda's really kicked up the farm this game. He's still at the top of the net worth, quite a bit ahead of Spectre actually. But the thing is like it's just him basically.
Right.
Potom has farming capabilities that aren't that great, to be honest. He is finding decent farm, but that's just the nature of the hero. And the rest of the heroes on their team, well, they don't really need that much farm, but they don't have farm either. So.
Well, the thing that kind of worries me a lot when I look at it is you've got 3 BKBs up on Alliance right now, right? Look where the majority of C9's damage is, or Alliance's damage is coming from outside of the Luna. I mean, S4's not in terrible shape. He's got his Manta. He's got another 2,000 gold tucked away. So, I mean, he's not hitting for absolutely nothing. But, they're relying so much on the epicenter. They're relying, Vendetta's physical, that's great. Mana burn, not. They're relying so much on magic damage that it is going to be the Luna show for the most part, just because the BKB's being out on the Bat and on Eternal Envy, and most notably Sing Sing, who also has Refraction to draw upon. So I feel like they've got to dodge fights. It looks like they're doing a decent job.
S4's in trouble.
Oh, got the Manta off. Here comes Eternal Envy. He's not going to give up. Forces the Moonlight Shadow and still trying to find him. However, has no detection.
He's got him.
Yep.
He's got. Oh, there we go.
Knew exactly where he'd go.
He could follow him with the path of that dark crap or whatever it is.
The Spectral Dagger Trail. I was wondering if it was going to wear off in time, though, but yep, Radiance plus Bone 7 there to help clean him up. And looks like Alliance is looking for blood in return. AUI is kind of out by his lonesome. Sing Sing's there to try and help him a little bit further back. Bulldog unable to find anything. And honestly, it just feels like Alliance is going up fishing and just not finding anything half the time, while C9 seems to always make it work for them.
Yeah, actually, Bulldog has the lowest net worth in the game right now.
Yep. That's
pretty crazy. Obviously, this is pretty much standard. Everything after this is luxury on an Nyx, but it does kind of suck.
Envy, one-manning the Tier 2. And looks like Alliance wants to trade the Tier 2 top. They're going to be able to react to this in plenty time, though. And here comes Envy immediately. Sing Sing catches Loda. There's a Spectral Dagger to follow it up. EGM setting up shop, has his Blink Dagger. They're going to chase him out, though. Now the Radiance has his Blink Dagger on cooldown. And trying to catch him. Sentry's down, and he's going to try to get away. Nope, lassoed back. He's dead. And nice shot. AA connecting on Bulldog. They know it. They know it. Spectral Dagger. Oh, still not enough as he shatters to the Ancient Apparition damage. Aegis is going to be reclaimed in the meantime, but yeah, it just feels like Alliance is a little too one-dimensional. I feel like C9 just has so many ways they could start fights, so many ways they could fight the fights, and so many ways they could finish fights.
Oh, and look at what AUI just bought. He finally completed a Scepter. So that's going to be fantastic. Oh, a nice arrow from S4 actually in mid. He might get the kill, actually.
Should get it.
AUI, yeah.
Yep, we'll get it. However, at bottom, we can see C9. They don't give a care. Pushing the tier 3. Still a handful of seconds until the other supports are up. They should probably get out now, though. And see what a Pilot Die get. Yeah, I got Starfall. Not too terribly bad. But
yeah,
Loda continuing to just farm away. Butterfly's just not enough right now. He's got 2,100 gold tucked aside. What do you think? Finish the Helm of the Dominator and straight onto a Satanic, or do you look to get some damage up?
Well, Satanic is very, very necessary this game. Because if he stood in that fight like that last time and just stood there, auto-attacks, and used Satanic, they would have obviously just destroyed them. But I think Manta is actually quite necessary here as well. Because
Agreed.
For instances where you have slows and crap on you, you don't want to waste your BKB to disjoint slows and stuff like that. That's for Manta. Not to mention the extra damage you get from your illusions bouncing those glaives. So I think Manta is necessary. He's going to go for a Daedalus. As he broadsword Daedalus. What? That's kind of interesting.
Because that's how you do. That's how you do. And yeah, Loda.
Oh, he already has the Demon Edge. I didn't see that. Okay,
yep.
My bad. And he's already got. Okay, wow. He's actually very farmed.
Yeah, he's got a little bit gold.
I thought it was just broadsword Daedalus, like before anything else.
We can see Alliance is getting aggressive once again, and moving up, trying to find someone home. C9 just seems to be one step ahead, though. That's kind of the issue. And like you said, Daedalus on Loda, now complete and in tow. So the damage was the answer. I honestly kind of agree with you, though. And now TA picking up NKB, that's actually a ridiculously big item for Sing Sing in terms of dealing with Loda. Having not just a right clicker, but one of your biggest, level 20 right now. And we can see he's right on par with the Luna while everyone else falls off hard. Spectre's actually taking the lead in overall levels. And the gold is definitely getting way in favor of C9. Let's see if they can get the jump. There was a Shadow Blade pickup on the Bad Rider as well, so note that. And he's actually, was using it just a moment ago. Pretty sure I heard of Vendetta. Yeah, I did. There's Bulldog. But
this Luna cannot get picked, though.
There's
cannot get picked.
Impale after Manta. Rest of his team's a little slow to follow. Actually, Lucent beamed the wrong one. And they're going to leap right on top of him. Batho able to jump around, and his own BKB lets him lock down Loda. They're target firing him down. He's down to half health. There's the Eclipse, but it doesn't matter. That's why that MKB mattered so much. Sing Sing able to just tee off on him. And EGM can do nothing but run, but Bone 7's right on top of him, dusts him out to make sure. That's 4-0, and we might be getting to GG territory. That was ugly. C9 just executed that perfectly. Bone 7, his Bat Rider is sick as hell, and he's not done. That's going to be a five-man wipe. Even dodging the arrow, letting Sing Sing come in and clean it up. That's going to be the last outer tier tower down, and it's going to be at least one set of racks.
I mean, you can kind of question the Daedalus pickup from Loda. I think it was fine, though. I think the idea of just all-out aggression and let's get him with offense rather than defense could have definitely worked, but I think he needs more protection from his team. And that means trying to initiate on the bat before he initiates on you. He got the BKB off before Lasso, but it didn't matter. Like you mentioned, the MKB from Sing Sing was just enough, and just keeping him in place for a couple seconds was all that C9 needed for the damage to be done.
Racks are down. There's going to be a Lasso dragging back Bulldog. Yeah, that used to be Bulldog. That's a godlike streak for Sing Sing. And I don't even think they have to clear out here. I mean, obviously the tier 2 mid still stands, so they can't exactly rotate to mid and just start taking that next racks. They'd have to go across the whole base, so that's probably why. Roshan is back up. They know it because Sing Sing's trap is down. Diffusal is now done on Spectre. And yeah, this is all over but the crying, I do believe.
And the first time, I think, this game where the net worth of Luna actually is not #1 in Sing Sing after all those kills. So this is getting into I don't know what Alliance can do territory.
Chat trivia. Since stats began being recorded in mid-2012, who are the only 3 heroes to build Shadow Blade a bunch of times? I don't know what the exact number was, like 600 times or 200 times or something like that. Nature's more than 400 times. Nature's Prophet's an obvious one. Who else you think?
Yeah, Nature's Prophet, DK, I guess. Oh, here we go.
Yep, DK was my next guess. Loda, though, once again caught out. Can he turn it around? There's a beautiful epicenter, and Eternal Envy eating a lot of damage. However, Loda is going to end up down. The Aegis is popped, but it cost them Loda. I don't know that Loda has buyback. He does not. And the rest of them are just cleaning house. S4 eats his own arrow as Pile I Die swiped it in that fight, and GG. right off of that. So, yeah, I'm going to go with DK as well. And I don't know. How about a Kunkka? How's Kunkka sound?
Yeah, Kunkka. That makes probably more sense than DK even.
Yep. We'll find out, as I'm sure Nahaz will pop it up. Prophet Alchemist. How do we forget Alchemist? That's goofy.
Of course.
That's
no, it just
goofy.
seems, well, yeah, of course. Before it was like very standard, but then when they nerfed the stun, it was like, who the hell gets it on Alchemist anymore?
Yeah, man. Like, I got to admit, I'm bad about that, forgetting like old metagame trends because you don't see them that much anymore. As soon as I see it, though, it's like, well, yeah, I did just watch everyone in history build Alchemist Shadowblade for, what, 3 months. But anyway, guys, game 1 is behind us. Excellent play from C9 and another tremendous performance from Sing Sing on the Templar Assassin. He finishes 10-1-7 and just took the game over down the stretch. But it was just great play all the time from C9. And to tell you the truth, it just felt like, I used this, coming into the match to talk about how it seemed like Alliance felt in their first series. And I kind of feel it here too, but it's a little different. It just felt like they were a step behind. Sluggish is the word that comes to mind, but not quite in the way they were against Empire. It just felt like they were executing, but C9 was just so quick to recognize what they thought was going on that they were almost never in a position to be punished.
Yeah. Well, I think every dog has his day, but for Admiral Bulldog, this might not be it.
No. As
unfortunately, the last series we saw kind of a not the best performance in this game. I don't think he played too badly this game, but the stats clearly don't reflect that. And there were a couple of instances where I think he kind of screwed up a bit. For instance, when I think this was a big point too, when S4 was doing so well mid, and he's like, I got to help out and try to make something happen. He TP'd top, left the lane for Sing Sing, which gave him like free farm for the next 3 minutes.
Right.
And it was a failed gank. We didn't see the stun come out from Admiral Bulldog quick enough. The arrow missed as a result. Because the window of timing there had to be much faster.
Right.
And then Admiral Bulldog, I think, died after that. And I can't remember if S4 died that instance, but nonetheless, it gave free farm to Sing Sing in the meantime. And also, EGM had a very, very good early game. He was level 8 so freaking fast, but I also question why he went for a mech before Blink. I think he could have got Blink super fast if he just went straight for it. So yeah, C9 looking pretty damn good, especially after their series win yesterday against Na'Vi.
Yep, they can get another win here. They'll close out the day and close out Alliance with an 0-2 record to start D2L Western Challenge play, as well as move themselves into contention for the #1 slot overall as we enter the meaty part of our Western Challenge schedule. 41 minutes, just about on the money, 40:59 the time. It took 33-17 final kill score. I'm your host there in AC Chambers. Thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast, guys. What could be our last game is coming up next. Alliance going to try to give us at least one more if they can knot the series up. That Cloud9 liked the way Winning tasted yesterday, and they'll try to pull it off again. The voice you hear on the other end, that's Tralf Dota. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at TRALF Dota, Tralf Dota, and I'm AC, obviously, at AYESEE. We'll be right back. Game number 2 of our last best of 3 of the day coming up next.